I didn't plan to meet him that day. My mind was a war zone. Past regrets and future fears were fighting for territory, and I was the casualty caught in the middle. I sat down on a park bench just to catch my breath. I didn't realize that the man sitting at the other end was about to change everything. He turned slowly and smiled. "You look like you're carrying the weight of yesterday and tomorrow, all at the same time." I laughed nervously. "Is it that obvious?" He threw crumbs to the pigeons and looked at me with eyes that held decades of quiet observation. "Tell me something. Where are you right now?" I looked around. "I'm here, on this bench." "No, where's your mind right now?" I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Because, honestly, my mind was everywhere except that bench. "That," he said softly, "is the disease of the modern world. We're never where we are." The wise man leaned back against the worn wooden bench. "Let me ask you something," he said. "What were you worried about this time last year?" I thought about it, and honestly, I couldn't remember. Whatever had consumed me 12 months ago, the argument, the financial stress, the work drama, it had all dissolved into fog. "Exactly," he smiled. "You can't remember." And yet, at the time, it probably felt like the end of the world. He was right. I had spent countless nights lying awake over things that now felt utterly insignificant. "The human mind has mastered what I call the neurotic art," he continued. "The ability to worry about a dozen things all at once. We drag the corpses of yesterday's problems into today, and we invite the ghosts of tomorrow's fears to join the party." He paused, letting the weight settle. "Then we wonder why we feel exhausted, anxious, and depressed. Most people live in one of two places, the past or the future. But the past is just a memory. The future is just imagination. When you live there, you're not actually living at all." He reached into his pocket and pulled out an old, crumpled photograph. This was taken 43 years ago. My wife, my children. He looked at it for a long moment. "Do you know what I was thinking when this photo was taken?" "I was thinking about next year. About how life would be better when we moved into a bigger house. When I got that promotion. When things were easier. I kept telling myself, someday I'll relax. Someday I'll be happy." He carefully tucked the photo back into his pocket. "That was 43 years ago. My wife passed away 15 years back. My children live far away. And you know what? I'm still waiting for someday." The great John Lennon once said, "Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans." When I was young, I thought how profound. Now I'm old enough to realize. I spent my entire life making plans and missing the moments. "Look around you," he said softly. "While people are making other plans, while they're checking emails, scrolling through social media, worrying about next week, their children are busy growing up. Their loved ones are slowly moving away. Their bodies are getting out of shape. Their dreams are quietly slipping through their fingers like water." He turned to face me fully. "Do you have children?" I nodded. "A daughter. She's 6. Does she try to show you things? Drawings? Little dances she learned?" I felt a knot form in my stomach. "All the time. And when she does, where's your mind? Is it with her? Or is it on your phone? On work? On whatever happened earlier that day?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. "Here's what I've learned after 8 decades on this earth," he whispered. "We treat life like a dress rehearsal. Like the real performance starts later. But nobody, not one person, has a guarantee that they'll be here tomorrow. This moment, right now, this is the only moment you're guaranteed. So why do we do it?" I asked. "Why do we abandon the present moment?" "Fear," he answered simply. "Fear is the thief. Fear of pain. Fear of failure. Fear of loss. Fear of not being good enough. Fear keeps our minds racing into the future, trying to anticipate every possible disaster. or it keeps us trapped in the past, replaying every mistake, every embarrassment, every heartbreak. He picked up a fallen leaf from the bench and held it in his weathered hands. Mark Twain once said something I've carried for decades. He said, "I have been through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened." I laughed, that kind of laugh that comes from recognizing a deep truth. Think about that. How much of your suffering this past week was real? And how much was just stories you told yourself? How many hours did you spend worrying about conversations that haven't happened yet? How much energy did you waste on what-ifs that never came true? Most of the monsters we're afraid of live only in our minds. The wise man let the leaf drift from his hand. We imagine the worst-case scenario so vividly, he continued, that we actually feel the pain of it right here, right now. We borrow stress from a future that may never come. And in doing so, we sacrifice the only peace we actually have access to, the peace of this moment. He looked at me with gentle intensity. Fear is like that leaf. It looks solid, but it's actually light. It only has power because the wind of your thoughts keeps it in the air. When you stop feeding it with your attention, it gently falls back to earth. I sat there, letting his words sink in. The park felt different now. The birds seemed louder. The breeze felt cooler. I was actually present. When your attention is fully in this moment, he said, fear has no place to stand. Fear needs either the past or the future to survive. It cannot exist in the pure now. Right now, at this very second, are you safe? I looked around. Yes. Then right now, you are free. The fear you were carrying? It was a ghost. And ghosts only have power when you believe in them. Let me tell you about my 40s, he said with a soft chuckle. I was a successful businessman. Corner office. Fancy car. More money than I knew what to do with. And I was miserable. He shook his head at the memory. I constantly worried about competition, about quarterly earnings, about what people thought of me. I would wake up at 3 in the morning with my heart pounding, thinking about deals that might fall through. I was successful by every external measure and completely bankrupt internally. A family walked past, a father pushing a stroller, a mother holding a toddler's hand. He watched them with a soft smile. One day, my daughter, she was about 7, asked me to come to her school play. I told her I was too busy. I had meetings, important meetings. He paused. The silence spoke volumes. She's 47 now, a wonderful woman, a doctor, helps people every day. And you know what? I don't remember a single one of those meetings. Not one. But I remember that look on her face when I said I was too busy. I remember it like it was yesterday. Here's what I want you to understand, he said, turning to face me with intensity. We spend our lives accumulating things, money, status, achievements, thinking they'll make us happy. But happiness doesn't live in the future. It doesn't live in a bank account or a job title. He paused, letting the truth settle. Happiness lives in moments, and moments are only available in the present. I thought about my own life, about how I was always chasing the next thing, the next promotion, the next purchase, the next milestone. That presentation you're worried about tomorrow, it might go well. It might go poorly. Either way, you'll handle it. But while you're torturing yourself with anticipation, you're missing this conversation. You're missing the way the sunlight looks coming through these trees. You're missing your own life. I realized something in that moment. I hadn't thought about the presentation for the last several minutes. The anxiety I'd been carrying had quietly dissolved. Not because the problem was solved, but because I had stopped feeding it with my attention. So how we fix this? I asked. How do we stop the madness? He held up his hand, counting on his fingers. First, understand that this is a practice. It's not a one-time fix. Your mind has spent years training itself to wander. Be patient with yourself. Here's where you start. 3 simple practices. He folded one finger down. Number 1, anchor yourself physically. Throughout the day, stop and notice your body. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your breath moving. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. When you connect with physical sensation, you automatically return to the present. A second finger folded. Number 2, single task. When you're eating, just eat. Taste the food. When you're talking to someone, just listen. Don't think about what to say next. When you're walking, just walk. Notice the world around you. The third finger folded. Number 3, catch yourself. Whenever you notice you're worrying or regretting, gently say, I'm here now. Don't judge yourself for wandering. Just bring yourself back. Over and over. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, confine yourself to the present. Even an emperor knew that power meant nothing if he wasn't present for his own life. The wise man stood up slowly, stretching his back. For a moment, he just looked out at the park, the trees, the sky, the distant children playing. 5 years ago, he said quietly, I was diagnosed with cancer. Stage 4. They gave me 6 months. I stared at him. Suddenly, everything changed. I stopped caring about the stock market. Stopped caring what people thought. Stopped caring about all the trivial things that had consumed my life. All I cared about was moments. The way morning light fell on my skin. The sound of my daughter's laugh. The taste of good bread. He turned to face me one last time. I beat it, by the way. The cancer. But I'm grateful for it. Because it taught me something that all the philosophy in the world couldn't teach. Life is now. Not later. Not when you're richer, thinner, more successful, more prepared. Don't wait for a diagnosis to learn this lesson. Don't wait for a funeral, yours or someone else's, to realize what matters. Start now. This moment. It's the only one you've got. If this series resonated with you, if it made you think differently even for a moment, then subscribe to this channel. Not because I need the numbers, but because you need the reminder. We are in this together. We are building a community of people who control their minds rather than being controlled by the world. One breath at a time, one moment at a time, one day at a time. Be here now.